So whenever you look at a family's faith and how that can be integrated into like a crisis situation, and even as a therapist, since that faith is maybe different from yours sometimes, I think the first question that could be addressed or identified is, how has the faith influenced your life? And kind of get a good roundabout idea of how their faith plays a role in their everyday life. Some individuals might feel very spiritual in that moment. In reality, like, faith doesn't play a huge role in their everyday life, whereas other people, faith is very important to them, and they really like hold on to that and help like use that to help them get through the hard times. Um, it's important to remember the different stages of faith, and maybe like boundaries that different faiths have, so that you are not being offensive or hurting somebody else who's a different faith. And then the ethics that come along with talking about faith in therapy, just to make sure that you are protecting yourself as well as the client. And then, like, when you're really looking at validating a family, the text by Jackson, Cherry, and Efford talks about the stages, or the 4 steps and process questions to ask. And I think this is really essential because it just helps the therapist know where to go, especially with if you're unfamiliar with that faith. It gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit about it while helping the client. And some of those, in those stages, it talks about faith, belief, and meaning, and just asking the client, do you consider yourself a spiritual, religious person? We kind of talked about that earlier. The importance and influence. Talk to them about how important their faith is in their life, and if they turn to their faith in times of trials, and how they use it to cope. And then church and community, and if they're involved in faith-based communities or resources. And this is also something that, as a therapist, I think would be beneficial in helping validate a family going through crisis, is encouraging them to get involved. A lot of churches, a lot of faith groups, religions have crisis groups or like family groups that you go and build those relationships with, so the client can have people to turn to, and people who have probably experienced maybe something similar to this, that can just give them that extra support that they need. And then the last one is apply and address. How would you like me to address or apply this information in our work together? And I really like that 4th step because it gives the client the opportunity to tell you where their faith lies within their life, and how they would like your support in their faith to come. So I really think like those things are going to help you as a therapist, especially when someone is a different religion than you. I mean, I think that there are like similarities in religion across the board. Prayer, for example, many different cultures, religious groups use prayer, seeking scripture, meditation. So I think in a roundabout way, if you stick to those things, those are the safe zones. But if you want to like build that rapport and push your client, asking these questions is really going to help you take that next step while still respecting them and helping them work through their struggles and what they're going through.